Ukraine attacks Russia right after peace talks.
South Koreans vote for new president.
The wave watchers of Kua Low Beach.
Hello, so good to see you again in today's news. And now here we go, the first headline of the show. Just hours after peace negotiations in Istanbul, Turkey, Ukraine launched a drone attack on Russian energy infrastructure, causing widespread power outages in several areas.
Russian officials confirmed that Ukraine carried out a series of drone attacks on energy infrastructure in the Zaporizhia and Kherson regions, leaving hundreds of thousands of residents without electricity. Speaking to the press after the peace talks, Ukrainian President Zelensky declared that Kyiv will continue attacks unless Moscow halts offensive. At the negotiations in Istanbul, both sides agreed on a large-scale prisoner exchange plan. They also exchanged memoranda outlining their proposals for resolving the conflict. Ukraine proposed holding further talks at the end of June. However, the negotiations did not pave the way for any agreement to end the conflict. And neither side showed signs of concession in their memorandums despite pressure from the administration of U.S. President Donald Trump.
Millions of South Koreans are voting for a new president following the impeachment of President Yoon Suk-yeol for declaring martial law in December 2024. This election is a major political event as the Northeast Asian nation faces numerous domestic and foreign challenges.
From 6 a.m. local time, all 14,295 polling stations across the country opened simultaneously. According to the National Election Commission, about 15.42 million voters had cast early ballots, with more than 200,000 voting from abroad. The election is taking place under the highest level of security alert. Nearly 29,000 police officers have been deployed to maintain order and safety at polling sites. The race is said to be tight between the two main candidates, Lee Jae-myung from the Democratic Party and Kim Moon-soo from the People Power Party, along with several independent and third-party candidates. Ballot counting will begin after polls close at 8 p.m., with preliminary results expected to be announced overnight. The new president-elect will take office immediately on June 3rd, skipping the usual 60-day transition period.
The Vietnamese Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính has ordered ministries, sectors, and localities to urgently implement the special mechanisms for social housing and establish a national housing fund in June to create long-term resources for the sector.
Over the past 2 years, 686 social housing projects with more than 62,700 units have been implemented nationwide. In just the first 5 months of 2025, 21 projects with over 20,000 units have begun construction. However, implementation still faces many institutional and procedural obstacles. The Prime Minister has called for coordinated and effective execution, avoiding legal loopholes and overlaps. The Ministry of Construction has been tasked with studying and proposing the establishment of a national housing fund to be completed in June. The goal is to build at least 1 million social housing units for low-income earners and industrial park workers during 2021-2030. In 2025 alone, the target is to complete 100,000 houses.
Coming up are some updated news.
The Agriculture Ministry said that Vietnamese firms will sign memorandums of understanding with US partners to buy $2 billion worth of American farm produce as part of efforts to seal a new trade deal between the two countries. The new deals, signed during a visit to the United States by a delegation of 50 Vietnamese companies led by Agriculture Minister Do Duc Duy, include 5 MOUs to buy 800 million of products from Iowa over 3 years, a significant increase from the previous average of $44 million per year. The new deals are expected to not only boost bilateral trade, but also lay the groundwork for tariff negotiations and strengthen the Vietnam-US Comprehensive Strategic Partnership.
The Nagayan Provincial People's Committee issued a press release on the province's socio-economic, defense and security in May 2025. Accordingly, the state budget revenue in the first 5 months exceeded 10.846 trillion Vietnamese dongs, equivalent to 61.2% of annual estimate and up 3.5% compared to the same period last year. In terms of investment, the province approved and adjusted 25 projects with a total investment of nearly 643 billion Vietnamese dongs. The tourism sector rebounded strongly, attracting 1.4 million visitors and generating over 4.163 trillion Vietnamese dongs in revenue. These are positive signs as the province undertakes key tasks in economic and social development, administrative restructuring, procedural reform and digital transformation.
The $2.2 billion Quinch Lap LNG thermal power plant in Hoang Mai Town, Ngayon Province is attracting attention from both domestic and foreign investors. With a designed capacity of 500 megawatts, this is a priority investment project until 2030. The project includes the power plant, a port for large vessels, LNG storage facilities, and supporting infrastructure, and is expected to import about 1.15 million tons of LNG per year. Once completed, the plant will connect to the national grid via a 500 kilovolt transmission line. Beyond ensuring energy security, the project is expected to create a significant effect, boosting development in construction, services, logistics, employment, and contributing to Ngayon's goal of double-digit economic growth.
Whenever summer comes, thousands of tourists flock to Kua Beach for relaxation, swimming, and fresh air. Behind the vibrant scenes are the silent guardians who keep watching over every wave and every visitors. These are the rescue team, known as the Wave Watchers, who ensure the safety for all. More in this story.
With sharp, focused eyes, equipped with whistles and warning flags, the lifeguard team at Kua Low Beach reminds swimmers to follow safety rules and promptly alerts them when they swim too far. During the peak tourist season, lifeguards must remain highly vigilant, never taking their eyes off swimmers in the water.
This is my 8th time visiting Kua Low Beach. I choose Kua Low as the most beautiful and peaceful beach. Having the lifeguards on duty makes me feel more secure and comfortable.
Every day from 4:30 a.m., Kua Low lifeguard team begins their work, checking equipment, assigning shifts, display flags and warning signs in dangerous areas. With 40 members, the team is divided into onshore patrols and sea patrols using jet skis and motorboats, ready to respond quickly to any incidents.
Our team is working along the beach. When tourists go swimming, the onshore team is responsible for informing them to swim in safe areas, whether they have life jackets, and to avoid deep pools. The offshore force with jet skis and canoes is responsible for monitoring all tourists and acting promptly in case of an incident.
Despite the hard work under the sun and sea winds, the trust and safety of people are the motivation that keeps these rescue workers dedicated to their jobs. The quiet but meaningful work of the Wave Watchers at Kua Low Beach has contributed significantly to making the beach a safe, attractive, and memorable tourist destination for visitors near and far.
Now is the end of the show today. Thank you so much for your attention. Goodbye and see you later.